Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Okay, this one's going to be fun. I love doing this. I'm covering Hodor's latest blog, as is the case every time I cover Hodor's blog. It's so in-depth, and there's so much material in it. There's no way I can cover everything in here. I'd have a video that's substantially longer than what I know most people want. So I selected certain things out of this that I kind of want to run through with you. The part I'm most excited to share with you is excerpts from an interview with Stefan Thomas, who is the founder of Coil and formerly Ripple's CTO. Very cool stuff in there. And it's all interwoven. So it was an interview about Coil Interledger, which of course works in conjunction with XRP behind the scenes for Coil, and then just web monetization in general. It's just cool stuff. And then I will end the piece with a story unrelated to XRP. It's from Daily Hodl, titled "Crypto Whale Moves $1 Billion Worth of Bitcoin, and in doing so creates richest non-exchange address." I just thought it was kind of interesting, so I'll share it with you towards the tail end there. Before we get going, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you done came to the right place, my friend. Go ahead and subscribe. Maybe we'll hang out and get a beer sometime. It'll be good times. We're all friends here on the Moon Lambo channel. I actually do want to share with you first a couple tweets, and I gotta be honest with you, I really, first of all, really value the fact that people tag me in a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and it does help shape what's on my channel. Helps me to find news that perhaps I wouldn't otherwise find. And so anytime any of you, if you're listening out, to anybody that ever tags me in anything, please know that I do genuinely appreciate it. Whether or not I cover what you tag me in on the channel. To be perfectly honest, it can be at times more challenging to keep up with everything than others, because the way the Twitter feed works, I mean, when you click on the notifications, my gosh, it can just be this huge, seemingly never-ending list, and then when I'm scrolling through it, I'm always worried that I'm missing stuff, and I'm sure it's unavoidable. I have to be at some time. So anyway, I just want you to know that, and I'm going to try and do this more, but if you tag me in something, I'm going to try to cover more of what the community tags me in, and I'm going to do that in this video. I've got 2 tweets I want to share with you that I was tagged in, and please know that if you tag me in something I don't cover it's definitely nothing personal whatsoever. It doesn't mean I think you had a stupid tweet or something like that. To the contrary, whether or not I cover it, I certainly appreciate that you're thinking of me and tagging me, but I can't cover everything, and sometimes I will miss things, to be perfectly honest, so I just wanted to be up front here. But there's a tweet here from 6G_XRP, and he tagged me and digital asset investor Jungle Inc. and Alex Cobb. So thank you very much for including me, good sir, and I thought I'd just share with you his thoughts here. He wrote, "As Ripple grows its network, we will see the insurance companies start to use XRP. It is so clear now that everything going foreign or internal value transfers will move XRP as RippleNet makes strides worldwide." And by the way, if you have anything specific, good sir, regarding XRP and that particular industry, insurance, I'd love to hear about it. As far as moving money around the world, XRP can be used in pretty much any industry, but if you had something in particular in mind, I would be curious about it. But yeah, seriously, that's one of the coolest things when it comes to this technology. It is not industry specific. If you're moving money and you're transferring fiat currencies, you can be helped. Even if you're a corporate, you can be helped via XVIA, frankly. So I thought it was cool stuff. Anyway, next tweet, and this was from Michael. It's at QW. I don't even know if this is supposed to be enunciated. At QWIETESTORME, Tweet Storm, perhaps, maybe something like that. Anyway, tweeted, included me in a tag with some other XRP community members, including Alex Cobb and Digital Asset Investor. When people ask me what XRP is, I found myself catching my words when calling it a digital asset. Now, I just call it the standard. Respect, good sir. Thanks for tagging me. And, I wonder, I've seen Brad Garlinghouse talk about this. He prefers to call XRP a digital asset, and he doesn't like calling it a cryptocurrency, and he said, why would I call it a cryptocurrency? Because it's not being used as a currency. So, indeed, if that's a qualifier, then okay. But I think that my personal opinion is that something can be a cryptocurrency, and I believe XRP is, regardless of whether or not it's being used as a currency itself. I think that cryptocurrency and the word currency are so vastly different that Just because the word currency is in the word cryptocurrency, it doesn't have to be used as actual money. That's just my humble opinion, and maybe you disagree. Maybe you agree with Brad Garlinghouse, and that's fine too. So anyway, I'll go ahead and hop into the stuff from Hodor now. But again, I'm going to try and cover more. I'd like to highlight the XRP community. I really appreciate all the support I get, and I think it would be a good thing, like a good way for me to show that I appreciate it if I make an attempt to cover more, tweets as they come in for more people. So if you care to, feel free to hop in Twitter, and I promise I'm going to try to do my very best to cover more thoughts from XRP community members and videos moving forward. So anyway, let's have at it now. Check out the intro to this piece. I do want to read this. I can only read so much of what Hodor wrote because, again, it's so awesome and so long, but I do want to read this intro part, okay? And he titled this, "You Are Not Mistaken." Let me make some assumptions about you. Permit me some latitude. You'll see where I'm going in a minute. You discovered XRP's performance metrics, features, and champion organizations after stumbling upon it due to something you saw on social media or perhaps heard from a friend. Once you did, you realized that it was superior in every capacity except daily trade volume than Bitcoin. You then began to do your own research and found out more unbiased information about how Ripple software solutions will utilize XRP at scale for settlement of cross-border payments. And then, it grew even more unbelievable. You learned about the massive alternative use cases of micropayments, web monetization, and smart contracts. You explored Coil's technology for web content monetization and were able to apprehend that this might mean for adoption of digital assets and XRP. Get paid in real time, indeed. And interoperability. When David Schwartz mentioned making the pie bigger for everybody, you understood and nodded inwardly. That is big picture thinking, you may have murmured to yourself. I know I did. But what happens to these rock-solid beliefs in the Internet of Value when the market gyrates and reveals its unpredictable nature? It's enough to shake some people's confidence and make them question their conclusions. But when it comes to the Internet of Value, my confidence is unshakable. The vision leaders in charge of Ripple, Coil, Forte, Cinnamon, Omni, Rise, XRPL Labs, and others are at the threshold of seeing the first wave of true Internet of Value applications emerge from developers' imaginations. We've seen the monumental business deals that have added enormous momentum to both web monetization and cross-border payments. We know the people and leaders that are a part of this, and we know that they have an enormous personal and professional stake in championing the Internet of Value. But most of all, facts are on our side now. We know that XRapid payment flows are increasing. We know that Ripple is planning on opening new corridors to South America, which will grow XRapid to new heights. Coil is working with Imager, Cinnamon, and Puma to pioneer web monetization. Rise, along with prominent entertainment moguls, is working to establish how monetization will integrate within the music industry. And that's an abbreviated list of business deals and efforts that are going on. Do not waver. Do not doubt. XRP and the Internet of Value are now visible on the horizon. Isn't that awesome? I tell you, this Hodor's got a way with words. I love it. I'm a huge fan of what he puts out there. Very valued XRP community member. All right, let me skip down because Hodor has a section about general crypto news. I wanted to get in some more Ripple and XRP specific stuff that he covered, and I thought this was neat. I was completely unfamiliar with this. See, look, I've been in crypto coming up in 2 years in November. There are still so many things I don't know. I love learning new stuff, and I hope the stuff I'm putting out there I hope some of it's new to you as well. I'm trying to help. All right. Anyway, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, was established after World War II with the goal of helping governments manage their various national economies in conformance to global policies designed to, quote, fight poverty through economic growth and financial stability, and, quote, promote policies that will improve the economic and social well-being of people around the world. Its membership includes 36 countries heavily weighted around Europe. This is what we'd expect to see given its origins. However, the organization is aiming globally with its policies and leadership and views its mission as reflecting a worldwide focus. 1 year ago, we learned that the organization was actively investigating blockchain technology and had sponsored a paper that summarized its findings about blockchain technology and corporate governance. It was promising evidence of Internet of Value progress on a global scale, as it mentioned Ripple and shone a spotlight on the Silicon Valley company as an example of how blockchain technology was being used to transform cross-border payments for banks and remittance processors. It's obvious that the OECD knows which way the wind is blowing. The organization is sponsoring a 2-day meeting titled OECD Policy Forum on Blockchain in Paris, France, on September 12th and 13th. Ripple is sending Liz Chin, I'm probably saying that wrong, my apologies, Liz, their Vice President of Global Tax, Brianne Madigan, Ripple's Head of Global Institutional Markets, and Marjan Delatine, Ripple's Global Head of Banking. And he's got a little screen capture of here of the announcement from OECD, which is cool stuff. And I don't know to what degree something like this is going to be covered in video format, but I hope there is, because I love watching that stuff. Because that's one of those things where even if it's a video, it's a bunch of people talking, so you can just kind of have it on in the background, not look at the screen. You can go like I do, walk my dog, or you can go to the gym and listen to this stuff. But if there's something to report on this, if something like that is made available, then I'll be happy to report further on that. All right, let me scroll down a little bit further here now. Oh, check this out. Kotak Mahindra, Kotak Mahindra. All right, this is the second largest private bank in India. All right, the company's headquarters is in the mega city of Mumbai on India's west coast. It has over 30,000 employees and manages total assets of over $31 billion. Billion with a B. That's a big number right there. Big bank. In July of last year, we learned that the bank had joined RippleNet, the group of banks, remittance processors, and other organizations that comprise the new challenger group to the SWIFT network. India is a major player in the remittance market, with somewhere around $69 billion having been transmitted to the nation in 2017. On June 12th, CII Tata Communications Center for Digital Transformation, YouTube channel, published an interview with Deepak Sharma, the Chief Digital Officer for Kotak Mahindra. And this is where it gets interesting here. Some of the noteworthy quotes from the interview include, and I do want to read this part. Check this out. We keep asking questions. Should there be a different product, a different customer segment, a different business model? What can we do to offer customers something faster or cheaper or in a different manner? So we've been looking at each area to disrupt ourselves rather than waiting to be disrupted by somebody else. I think we pride ourselves in our culture that we have always taken risks, we have always seen opportunity, and that's how we've grown faster than the market for so many years. Similarly, we looked at the inward remittances and we said, while there is a lot of talk about blockchain, rather than looking at this as a concept and a proof of concept, is there a real use case and value for customers? And that is where we brought in the inward remittances platform we integrated with Ripple. That's awesome, is it not? See, there are forward thinkers out there, and that's why if you look at the a technology bell curve, there are always early adopters, and then there's always the laggards, and then there's everybody in between. And with where we are right now, I'd say in terms of, if you're comparing it to a technology bell curve, we're at the, early adopters. I don't know. We're somewhere towards the first half of it, but I'd say very close to the beginning of the adoption of this particular technology, which I find incredibly exciting. And that's why I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to put my money into XRP when I did, because while none of what I say on this channel is financial advice, you got to make your own buying and selling decisions, I think that there's an opportunity for XRP to be worth a fortune in the future. And it depends how much you hold and, what the price ultimately gets to in the coming years. But I think that we are really early days here, and most people on the planet have never even heard of XRP. So very cool stuff here. All right, let me scroll down a little bit further. I don't think I was going to cover this one. Identity. Oh, yeah. Okay. I did want to cover this one. Identity is an Australian company that seems laser focused on one particular use case, the sharing of information that accompanies transactions. They currently have one platform called, unapologetically, Overlay. The name is quite descriptive since their solution seems to overlay the payment networks involved. Their goal seems to be to allow parties to a transaction to view attached documents according to defined security requirements. They are not a run-of-the-mill legacy company, however. They are embracing blockchain and have pioneered the design of a solution that they believe assists with continual AML requirements. In addition, this solution includes the filing of a patent in the United States. The name of the patent is Computer Implemented Method for Processing a Financial Transaction and a System Therefore. Catchy name, right, guys? The patent goes to great lengths to describe a blockchain technology-based solution for integrating documents and payments and includes no less than 13 references to Ripple and XRP. And then you can see here there's a little, it's in quotation marks, it states, settlement, gateway of payers bank sends by way of non-limiting example XRP, the native currency on the Ripple protocol, to billers bank gateway, payers bank gateway notifies token database 1023 of receipt. And so that's one of the examples that Hodor is citing within his piece here. And so that's fascinating, the 13 references. Anyway, then states, it's great to see more patents with references to digital assets, and of course, Ripple. While patents are quite commonly filed as just-in-case defensive measures, it's still very encouraging to see fintech businesses include references to the modern technology successor to the aging SWIFT banking network. All right, let me scroll down a little further. You had a nice piece written up here about MoneyTap, but I did just talk about that the other day, and I think it'd be too soon for me to cover it again, but it is cool stuff, and Yoshitaka Kitao is indeed looking to integrate somehow XRP with the MoneyTap app, which I thought was awesome. So with Yoshitaka Kitao, CEO SBI Holdings anyway. So that's all I'll mention on that, but let me scroll down a little bit further here. Actually, I think the next thing I wanted to cover, I just wanted to jump down to the piece on Coil. This is cool. This was my favorite part in the whole thing that Hodor wrote up here. So anyway, one of the best interviews I've read recently is the one where Ian Jacobs posed questions to Stefan Thomas about Coil, Interledger, and web monetization. Ian Jacobs conducted the interview in June and published it via the W3C's official site on September 3rd. Here's a few questions and answers that piqued my interest. Ian, how do you get people to start using Coil? Stefan, one of the nice things about web monetization is that it is pretty simple to adopt. All the website has to do is include a meta tag. All the user has to do is pick a provider, like Coil, and sign up with a credit card. It doesn't take much for people who want to experiment with it. Ian, I like that idea. Suppose I'm watching Amazon Prime and I see a movie available from Starz, but I don't have a subscription. I would love to be able to push the Watch This Now button and pay on the spot because I'm not ready to subscribe to the full service. Surely there is some way for these companies to negotiate a sweet spot. Stefan, walled gardens, going all the way back to AOL and CompuServe, are annoying for content providers. They have to maintain all these relationships and different versions of their content, and they have to negotiate pricing every time. The idea of the internet was to create an open pool where creators could provide content and services, and service providers had access to that open pool. Initially, the pool was not as attractive as AOL, but eventually it became big enough to become more interesting than what any commercial provider could offer, and suddenly it became the most interesting pool. The result is that the providers that don't have the expense of having their own content and growing their own content pool suddenly do much better. That's because people start to care about internet access and not the value added on top of that. Ian, W3C holds its big annual meeting in September, TPAC 2019. I expect between 500 to 600 attendees. I also expect to hear a lot about web monetization then. What are your goals for that meeting? Stefan, our goals are to introduce this technology to the broader web community and stakeholders such as browsers, website developers, users, merchants, everybody who has an interest in the web. We think this will impact a lot of different things. For example, initially we thought that web monetization might not be relevant for online shops because they are not selling content. But we found that web monetization might let smaller merchants compete with Amazon's Prime subscription. Users who show up with web monetization might pay a little money to browse the storefront and in exchange get free shipping. We look forward to discussing these and other interesting possibilities at the event. Very cool stuff, is it not? Look, this is game changing. And again, don't forget, if you're a holder of XRP, if Coil finds success, don't forget, XRP is required in order for this to operate. So cool stuff, because you know what that'll do to supply and demand, right? I mean, that's why all of this, it's such early days, it's completely mind-blowing to me. Having been into it even now almost 2 years, it's still mind-blowing to me. And people just, you get it, you're listening, you get it. But people don't get it, you know what I'm saying? There are not enough people out there that are even aware of this. And some people, they're just not, God bless them, they're just not that visionary by nature. And you can tell them all this stuff till you're blue in the face, and they're just going to shrug it off. And you may have encountered people like that in your own life. I certainly know that I have. There's a lot of other great content in this particular blog, but this video is already going a little bit longer than I had intended, so I better just cover the last piece I promised to talk on and wrap it up from there. So here's a piece from Daily Hodl. Crypto whale moves $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, creates richest non-exchange address. A transfer of 94,504 Bitcoin worth $1.01 billion is triggering a frenzy of speculation on who is behind the curtain. Then they've got a picture of the whale alert here. I love that account. Whale alert. The transfer created the largest known non-exchange Bitcoin address, with the transaction fee costing 0.065 Bitcoin, worth around $710 at time of publishing. By the way, I do want to comment there. Good thing that wasn't during a peak time. Although I guess actually, since it was such a huge transaction, maybe could have pushed it to the front of the line. But doesn't that cost more or something like that? So you can imagine. I was just thinking back to the end of 2017 when the average transaction fee on the Bitcoin blockchain was like $50 or something stupid like that. Anyway, crypto traders are pondering the possibility that crypto-related companies or exchanges are involved. The vast majority of the buzz on Twitter pins the transfer to the launch of Bakkt's custody warehouse. It could also be connected to Van Eck, which rolled out an ETF-like product this week. But so far, there's no hard evidence to support either theory. The on-chain data research company Token Analyst is performing some forensics on the origins of the funds and found that a third of them came from addresses on the crypto exchange Huobi Global. This indicates that the transfer could be the exchange moving its customers' funds around in cold storage as a maintenance or security measure. So far, Huobi Global has not commented on the transaction. And so, there you go. It's big. It's big. We like big monies moving, right? So, all right, well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And from the bottom of my heart, very sincerely, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody, whether you watch my video or like it or subscribe. Thank you so much. This is my most enjoyable hobby I've had in my entire life. And it's really cool getting traction with that, with more subscribers coming on board all the time. And I just want you to know I'm really appreciated. So I'll leave it at that, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!